Hello and welcome to Science Research Weekly, Season 4, Episode 10, Megalodon Goes on a Diet. Get ready for the cancer and non-cancer cells of the colocatome, tiny vortexes in semimetals, slimmed down megasharks, pi to the power of pi, and underrated are functions. This episode covers material from March 7th to March 13th. Let's get started with some research articles. First up, a quantitative spatial cell-cell colocalization framework enabling comparisons between in vitro assembloids and pathological specimens. Researchers performed cell pair colocalization analysis to explore what they call the colocatome, the ecosystem around cancer cells that involves other non-cancerous cells as well. Turns out cancer cells depend a lot on the surrounding cells to do their thing. The most helpful image, if you're following along on the video portion, is going to be Figure 6, schematic overview of this framework. So, very interesting of looking at the wider ecosystem of cancer and cells. Next up, imaging orbital vortex lines in three-dimension momentum space. It's pretty technical, but the gist of it is that researchers discovered vortex lines, so think tiny little tornadoes, in a semi-metal. And our final article for today, with a whopping name for a whopping specimen, reassessing the possible size, form, weight, cruising speed, and growth parameters of the extinct megatooth shark Otodus, Megalodon, Lamniformes, Otodontidae, and new evolutionary insights into its gigantism, life history strategies, ecology, and extinction. Megalodon, the largest shark ever, is typically depicted as a very large great white shark, so a bit chunky. But using measurements from 165 sharks, both extinct and extant, paleontologists estimated that Megalodon was actually thinner than white sharks. I think a little bit longer and then thinner, more like a modern lemon shark. So sleeker, not as chunky. Otodus Megalodon, a svelte megashark of a bygone era. Let's turn to some research tools. Julia is now available on Google Colab if you're interested in that. Then on the Do Loop with Rick Wicklin, a fun post to celebrate Pi Day, so 3/14 today. Pi to the power of pi. So turns out it's 36.462 with more repeating things after, or not more repeating with a series after that. But he plays around with other things like graphing and other such things. So get yourself a slice of pie, figure out pi to the power of pi, and have some statistical fun. All right, a little bit more into our tools today. 3 new R bloggers post. First, from a statistician's R notebooks by M. Fatih Tuzen. Underrated gems in R must-know functions you're probably missing out on. The ones that are examined are reduce, vapply, do.call, and janitor clean names. From Oscar Barufa on R programming, there are 9 new books added to the big book of R. Very interesting. Almost 450 free open source and some paid books available for this big book of R. These are the 9 latest ones. Biological data science with R, marginal effects zoo, scaling up with R and Arrow, coding club creating an R package, visualization for social data science, data viz protocols, and introduction to data visualization protocols for wet lab scientists, probability of default rating modeling with R, comprehensive overview of the modeling processes, principle, and design, applied data science for credit risk, a practical guide in R and Python, and an introduction to quantitative text analysis for linguistics. Final new R bloggers post from Muriel Del Monte. Customize your expedition. Create a unique documentation for your R package. Showing off the package.yml to add customization to your R package documentation website. So there we go. All right. 4 new crayon packages that you might want to think about looking at. There's data package, create and read data packages. Lavon.mi, fit structural equation models to multiple imputed data. Param ANOVA, fully parameterizable ANOVA test. And XLR, create table summaries and export neat tables to Excel. There is no new funding of note for now. So, to kind of finish this out on a bit of a fun note, in light of the fact that Megalodon is getting thinner, did you know that another iconic prehistoric aquatic species, Dunkleosteus, the armored placoderm fish from the Devonian, is actually getting shorter and actually a lot chunkier than we thought. I think obviously a lot of fossils, you don't have the full size, you don't have the full vertebrae, so you just estimate, but then with better methods, more discoveries, find out more. Turns out it wasn't nearly as big as researchers thought it was. I mean, it's still big and still deadly, but it was more like as they call a tuna than a shark. So kind of squatter, chunkier, but just as nasty on the front end with those bony plates. All right, with that, thanks for joining me with the Svelte Sharks of the Sea and Science Research Weekly. Science on.